Hello, beautiful soul family. I'm here in bed. I did wash my face and put some oil on, and my hair hasn't had a brush through it in a few days, but I did cut my hair. I cut my hair, and I love it. I think it looks amazing, especially because I'm off grid. So uh, it's yeah, I was really proud of myself. But spirit helped me. I cannot tell a lie. Have you guys been feeling the ancestors? I mean, in real time, today is October 14th, 2023, and as the veil grows thinner, like, I mean, I'm not putting out the content that I would normally put out at this time of year, and it's really been a struggle for me because um I've been having imposter syndrome. Like, I don't know really who I am right now or what I'm doing or where I'm going, but I'm happy and I'm calm and I'm peaceful most of the time. But then I have these moments of just darkness. Like right now, my stomach has like this pit in it. Um, but I wanted to talk to you guys today because I'm going through such a metamorphosis that I'm assuming you guys are too. And the planet is obviously in turmoil and things are going on, and we are in, as I've said for years, this ain't your mama's revelations. You know what I mean? Like, for those of us who grew up in the Christian, faith, I believe in Jesus. I just don't believe in the church. I always knew that I didn't need to go into a room or a building of any kind to connect with spirit or Jesus or God, goddess, whatever the energy was. I also knew I was talking to different ages, energy, whether it's divine feminine, masculine, from they all just so many things that I was seeing as a child and was told that I was wrong and I was crazy and all these things. So I clearly chose every person that has come in contact with me since I've been alive, alive, because seriously. So I know I'm going to skip around a bit, so hang in there with me. But the theme of today is just say I'm sorry. Because we are in shadow energy. And the shadow energy of the eclipse, we are officially in it. I actually wanted to do so many different things for you guys. Like, I did a bunch of shorts. If you go and look at, Bubba's got her own channel now. I've got 3 channels. I've got Bubba the Great. Well, Bubba's got her own channel. I need to put a link. I'll put a link in the comments in the description box. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. And then, there's this channel which spun off of the Magical Medium, which was originally Lula's Labyrinth. Well, as a medium and as a muse and a prophet, I just kind of go and flow as I do, but I'm also working through my own personal shit. So, Taylor Swift has been coming for me, as she has been coming for us all. I mean, I really had this moment yesterday because it was the Day of the Goddess, and I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, Spirit put this YouTuber in my path called the Swiftologist. He's fucking, or I don't know what their pronouns are, but they are fucking hilarious. They're hilarious. They're extremely articulate, extremely bright, intelligent. I'm like, they must have like professors or lawyers for parents, or they're just, like me. Like, I was just born like this. You know what I mean? Like, I saw things, felt things, seen things. Hi, Robin. The Robin bird just came in. That's Jesus. Hey, Jesus. Hey. I don't know. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can. Hi, Robin. What's up? Can you guys see it? I don't know. Is it? Hi. So work with the Robin bird spirit animal. That's our spirit animal. Thank you, Robin bird. That's our spirit animal. No, seriously, I'm all over the place because I'm in so many different places at once right now, especially with the veil getting thinner. So, like last night we went for a walk after dinner and it was dusk. That's like my favorite time to go for a walk now, especially on the property, because it's like so cool. It's like walking through an eerie forest, but it's not. It's our forest. It's our home. We love it so much. And I said, oh man, I wonder if we'll see a bat again. I'm like, please feel free to come visit me, bat, if you'd like to. I shit you not. Like, not even a minute later, this bat comes and flies right up to my face and like up to, and like to me, up to Alder, because he's 6'2", and into the trees. The robin's still sitting there, by the way. Um, but they're looking at my beautiful view right now, which is of the hills and the water. And if it was more clear, I could see Mount Baker. I digress. So this is the magic and the miracles. Every day I'm like, I believe in magic and miracles. I believe in magic and miracles. All these animals are talking to me. Things are happening, you know. So be mindful of like what you're speaking into being, you know, like my life, I'm like, my life is a fairy tale. I'm Snow White, right? Like, and I'm like, I'm Dr. Dolittle. And I have been like the animals, it's been, I mean, out of control how many on a regular basis. Even this morning, Bubba killed a mouse, and I like, you know, went and got it and said a prayer over it, looked it in the eyes before I would be like, no, get rid of it. And I'm like, no, I want to say thank you. I'm sorry that you lost your life, but you know, we've asked you to stay away from this perimeter. You know, I'm like, Bubba's doing her job. That's what her job. That's her job. And so I was like, but I wish you the most beautiful life in your next life. And I put them somewhere proper, you know, for the animals to eat and bring it back into the earth. But this connection to Gaia yesterday on Friday the 13th, Freya the 13th, the goddess, 13 is the number of the goddess. It was just, I mean, seriously, like every day that it's getting closer to Samhain, I'm like not even sure like what the fuck is happening or who I am or what, you know. Yesterday I was like, I was messaging with Anna, you know, I call her the president of the Magical Medium. She's a dear friend. She lives in the UK. And Anna was, hi Anna. And Anna like sent me this beautiful email, and it was kind of interesting because I just happened to like be in my emails, because I don't look at my emails and my phone and my texts all the time. In fact, right now I owe so many of you messages back again. I love you, I love you, I love you. Especially to those of you I reached out to. I promise I'll get back to you. I was meant to reach out to you for a reason. So I'd say I'm sorry about the triggers, but I'm not. Because they're there for a reason, you know? And I don't mean that harshly, just like I've been having my own triggers lately and things that have been happening where I'm like, oh, geez, Louise, like, can I just get through this? And then I'll move on to that, you know? But yeah, staying in a high vibration, staying in my love for myself and others has been really vital. So yeah, she sends me this email and kind of echoed back to me what Spirit had put out to all of us, that I am strong, I am mighty, I am capable. That is our mantra for October. I am strong, I am mighty, I am capable. I'm pretty sure it's in that order. But with that being said, you know, even with the mouse, it was like, that's something I couldn't do before. But instead I put the gloves on, I did it safely, you know, picked it up with these big, you know, maple leaves and honored it and talked to it and looked in the eyes and, you know, thanked it, you know, for its life, and for also, you know, it keeps Bubba busy. It really does, you know. So it's just the circle of life, and I'm just noticing so many things. And while all these destructive energies are working themselves out on the planet right now, the only thing we can do, the best thing we can do, is just work on ourselves and focus on ourselves. So the just say I'm sorry is, you know, if you're done wrong, if you fucked up, if you've ever, you know, I know for a lot of addictive programs, or addiction programs, they will have you confront the person. Thanks, Older. He's letting Bubba in. They will confront the person that they wronged, and I don't know, have I been out of focus this whole time? I'm sorry if I was. I can't really, the light's on me. You know, that's part of the healing process, is to apologize to people. And if people don't want your apology, that's okay. You know, you can ask their higher selves, and you don't have to talk to them, call them, write them a letter, nothing. You can write it down and then burn it. You don't ever have to talk to them or see them again if it's a triggering, or if it's not healthy for you, or you're just not ready. Like someone had just messaged me and they're like, you know, I'm not ready, I'm angry. You know, I'm like, well, that's okay, because that's a fucking important emotion to work through. Anger is an important emotion to work through. But that's why we say, just say I'm sorry. And it's a great song from Pink and Chris Stapleton. And they say, you know, just say I'm sorry. It's not the hardest thing to do. Just say I'm wrong sometimes. And I'll believe you, 'cause I love you. Just say I'm sorry, 'cause I love you. The other song that's been coming for me, Taylor, my birthday sister, is there's this part of All Too Well. All Too Well has I've watched it in so many different versions, and if you haven't seen her version on Saturday Night Live of the redone her Taylor's version of All Too Well with the video behind her on Saturday Night Live, seriously, do yourself a fucking favor and go and watch it. If they call me to put a link, I will. If not, go and seek it out. Not hard to find. SNL, Taylor Swift, All Too Well on YouTube. And I will tell you what, I literally cannot watch it without bawling my eyes out. Because it hits home for everybody. But also, now that I've gotten to know her through just spirit and Swifties, and she's my birthday sister and all this, like she's come into my dreams, she's just very interesting things. I have this one very vivid dream where we were in a restaurant together, and I'm going up to her table, and there's like this security guard that stops me, and she's like, oh no, let her through, you know. And I was like, hey, I'm like, I just want to say thank you and I love your music. I don't remember what I said. I wrote it down after, it's in my dream journal. But anyway, we just had this really cool, you know, meeting. She loved that our birthdays were the same day and everything, and that I was a medium, and she was like, that's so cool, you know. But it's kind of this reoccurring energy. So I don't know if it's happened in another dimension or another timeline or something like that, but I am absolutely, positively, for sure, without a doubt, like I am right now in this consciousness with you, that she is genuinely a goddess. And I think that's why the robin came in, right? Because, you know, no one said Jesus was going to come back as a man. No one said Jesus was going to come back as anything. He could be that fucking bird, right? He is that bird. He is that robin bird, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to say it. I'm just like, it's all right. It's just languaging. Because it just means, you know, somebody said one time that swearing makes you weak. I'm like, no, it's just the same, you know, it's like, it's passionate actually. If you think about it, it's when you're using it as an adjective, it's passionate. It's like saying, it's like, yeah, like, because that word can be used as so many different things. Sorry, he's going in and out, Bubba. It goes on all day long. So I am convinced that Taylor Swift is a goddess, and I am absolutely almost for certain that she's an embodiment of Christ and Christ consciousness, you know, because she's so loving. I saw a clip of her. These things keep coming into my fucking orbit. Like they want me to see these things, you know, and I think living in LA for as many years as I did in my lifetime and at that time, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and working with so many, you know, celebrities and realizing that they're just people and all this. It's like, no, she really is like a superhero. There's something about her that's just so divinely inspired and gifted, and her songwriting and just so many things. It's quite magnificent, actually. Sorry, that's the traffic. I have my window open. And so the line in All Too Well that has been haunting me, and I mean haunting me, because it's like I sing it and then it's like it comes through in some other way with some other shadow aspect of myself, that in this eclipse season is like, you need to make peace with this and have forgiveness. You don't have to reach out to those people, you don't have to but you know, you have to do something about it. You have to heal that trigger, because a trigger's only there because it's something that hasn't healed yet. So I'll get frustrated with Alder and I'll say, you know, we're both going through these things, you know, we need to be more mindful of our energy with each other, you know, not go around triggering each other all day. And then one day he said, you know, we wouldn't be triggering each other if we didn't need to, so, you know, heal it. And I was like, damn you, sensei. That's what I say to him when sorry, it's a bit, and that's what I call him, you know. It's kind of funny when he's like teaching me, you know. So, the one line that just came to me right now is she's like, you know, maybe we got lost in translation. I really want you to like, it's a story. I mean, it's a short story that she's putting into music. It's really amazing and inspiring. And I remember when I was writing music and songs in the 90s when I was in LA, and all of these people who were, you know, famous for one thing or the other. I was very blessed to know a lot of producers and musicians, because my first husband was a musician in Los Angeles, and he knew a lot of famous people, and so I in turn knew them because of him. And you know, it was just very interesting, like our worlds, because he was more in the music world and I worked at Planet Hollywood. I opened the Beverly Hills location. It was the 16th store, actually. They had opened them everywhere else, but then once it was really cool and people loved it and it became a thing, then they opened it in Beverly Hills. They were very smart, actually. Very wise business people. But anyway, so it was very different for me because I met everybody. I met musicians, actors, writers, producers, directors, you name it, the whole gamut. And PR people, and you know what I mean? Like, I remember one of our main PR person, he'd become like a total buddy of mine, and he was also PR for Brad Pitt at the time. You know what I mean? It was just like, I was always like my neighbor across the hall was best friends with Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. Like, she literally like went to college with them. Or Kira, I think she went to college with Kira, and then I don't know how they met. A lot of people don't know, but Kira is like a secret billionaire. Her family comes from big money. I forget what they do. Something big in Americana, I think. Anyway, I digress. I mean, I can go on and on. So I have had many lifetimes in this lifetime, but it's just been really interesting. It's like, that was like a school of some kind for me to like really understand just that they are people and, whatever. But also now that I've come into my divinity of who I am and what I am on this planet as a muse, as a prophet, as a medium, right? As a shadow worker, a light worker. I'm blessed. I'm not just like one or the other. My husband and I have been talking about that. We're both light and we're both shadow. But if we had to like lean more one way or the other, I'm more light and he's a little more shadow. Like in terms of teaching, he's really good at spotting someone's, shadow. And as an empath and a telepath, like I'm good at spotting, when people are lying. Somebody can tell me something and I can tell they absolutely fucking positively believe it, but their higher self will be like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. And they'll tell me what's really going on. And then if I throw it back at them, they'll be like, they're just like, how do you know that? And people feel very exposed. And I didn't know at the time, like what I was doing. So, so the line in All Too Well, I think I need some water for this one. Get some water. So you tore it all up. I was there. She's like, are you running scared? I was there. I remember it all too well. So that's part of my shadow with myself and others. But that's still not the big line. That's the one that was going off in my head. The one that has been the hardest for me. Hold on. The birds are talking to me. Okay, so this is the one. So you call me up again just to break me like a promise. So casually cruel in the name of being honest. I believe you could probably almost quote me on saying things like that over my lifetime to people. I'm just being honest. Like, you're a dick. I'm just being honest. And I would be like, I would like tear people down in a second. I would shred them. When people would come for me physically, mentally, or emotionally, I was like, on guard, motherfucker. I got you. You come at me. You're not going to win. But you know why I was like that? Because I was taught by the master. My mom, so yesterday was my mom's 75th birthday. For my mom, that might as well have been her 100th birthday. I would hear so much growing up. My grandmother would say, none of the women in my family have lived past 69. Guess how old my grandma was when she died? Just a few months shy of her 70th birthday, so my grandfather put on her headstone, born in 1930, died in 2000. Because it looks cool. And so when people look at it, they're like, wow, she was 70 years old. But she wasn't yet. So the fact that my mom's 75, as of this moment, my mom is the oldest crone in our family to live. My mom was born on October 13th, the number of the goddess. And the number of the goddess in the month of October is like winning the witchy fucking lottery. So Taylor and I are born on December 13th. But I had this moment yesterday because it's been really hard. I stopped talking to my mom quite some time ago now. And I really wanted to call her or text her and be like, hey, mama, I made it. Like, I am on top of a hill with a beautiful witchy cottage. Like, everything I've ever wanted is here. I've been blessed. I worked hard. Every time somebody said no, I pushed harder, even if I should have gone the easy way. And part of what held me back was the way my family treated me and saw me and told me who I was, and told me I wouldn't be accepted or loved. I was allowed to like dress like this and be like this, like that's cool, like, oh, she's just hippy dippy, blah blah blah. You wouldn't believe the shit that flew around about me. Or maybe you would. I'm from, the south suburbs of Chicago, and most of my family are Republicans and Christian or Catholic, right wing, controlled by religion and government. I was the crazy, wacky one. Even now, I'm sure I would be to them, where I'm trying to explain to them that it's not about religion or politics. It's about like fucking love and taking care of each other on this planet. It's not about borders and yeah, we have boundaries. We have to set boundaries with one another, but we don't need to have these malicious borders. These wars continue to happen because it's out of greed and possession. There's no love there. If there was fucking love, there wouldn't be war. It's just a fact. And my household was like a fucking battle zone between my parents. There was a lot of love there, but there was also this like love as a battlefield, like fighting physically, mentally, emotionally. I watched, I observed, I looked, I heard, I listened like a little fucking sponge. I've always been intelligent. I was born to be here to guide people to the next place, to the next level of where they need to be in their consciousness, just as I will eternally evolve in my consciousness here as I have breath in this avatar. And until I can have a conscious conversation with anyone from my past about what's truly happening on the planet right now, and not some coma-induced possession of thought that was, drizzled down through the ancestors, through the energies, through the, we all see now. The internet was the greatest gift. Some people are like, oh, it's horrible. It's also a gift. It is a gift because it's connected us in a way that we've never been connected before, that in this consciousness that we know, in this plane where we are. I mean, clearly you watch these programs and archaeologists are finding laser, homes that were built with, out of stone with lasers, and they're like, that's like 35,000 years ago. You know what I mean? So who knows how many times we've played out this different control and programming? I don't know. Maybe, you know what I mean? We don't know. We've got the Lemurians, the Atlanteans. There's so much history that's happened. It's really the history of humanity. It's not just the history of the United States or the history of Africa. It doesn't fucking matter. It's different continents, it's different places, but it's a consciousness. And the consciousness is the barrier that's keeping us from each other. I just did a picker reading, and it's Love Letters from Your Shadow. If you want to go check it out, it's on, there's links all over this channel in the About section, at the bottom here, to the Magical Medium. I just posted it a few days ago. It's really, really good. I'm actually thinking about putting them each public. Sometimes they have me do that because the 3 readings were so profound and very interesting. And right now, we really need to connect with our shadow and not run away from our past. Or, it's like we want to, yes, I know I say all the time, you don't want to live in the past. No, but we do have to confront certain things so that we can move on from them. If we just keep looking at it and, pushing it into a closet and shutting the door, and leaving those skeletons to rot, then all it's doing is it's rotting us from the inside out. And so, a lot of you are going through the dark night of the soul. I am at the end of the dark night of the soul. I had the saddest moment the other day because Braca Goldsmith is going offline. She doesn't know if it's going to be indefinitely or whatever, but she has to have some surgery on her eyes, and she's not going to be able to really see properly for like 6 months. And her video, I was like bawling because I haven't really watched her videos in a while. And there was just this moment, I felt like she was like talking to all of us individually. And I'm like, she's so powerful. And I'm like, I want to feed my brain with people like her. But it's like, I know that she'll step aside and some other, person will come into my orbit to teach me more about astrology, or to teach me more about humanity, or, the Pleiadians, or, whatever. This is just a big mixed soup of spirituality and like crazy shit, but it's beautiful and it's awesome. And yeah, wars suck, and floods and famines and all this shit, but it's induced. And, we cannot change other people. We can only change ourselves. And as we keep evolving and changing ourselves, the other people will eventually filter out. It will filter out. There's never, ever going to be, greed is never, there are certain things that I hope, disappear forever. But because of the human condition, and because I'm very familiar with the human condition, it's a slippery slope. You could be very happy for somebody. You could be very happy for someone's success. But at the same time, if in anywhere in that moment you're feeling like a little jealous, or like, oh, why isn't that happening for me yet? Or blah, blah, blah. You're actually, that's bringing a shadow. That's shadow behavior. Because otherwise, you'd be like, I'm so happy for them. I know my time is right around the corner. I'm going to keep focusing on it. They obviously, did the work. They're where they're supposed to be, where they need to be, And we're seeing on the planet that when we force things with money or power or pressure, this energy that's come back, this fifth dimensional energy, is not going to allow the third dimensional energy to continue its behavior. It will keep mirroring itself, and the bombs will keep blowing up in their faces until things happen. So I send us all peace, love, happiness, and abundance, because it is our birthright. But I also send healing and love and protection of prayer to say whatever's in everyone's greatest and highest good, because I don't want to take any free will against the lessons that still need to be learned by some people, some energies, some entities. Like, we don't really know. It's not for us to say. All we can do is focus on ourselves and our little worlds and bring it into the world. Do good when you can do good. However, if you're someone like me, I didn't realize how much, entitlement, because that's really what that is, right? Like when we say things like, you're being an asshole, or you're, like when we judge people, when we, say to people, hey, I know better than you know yourself, or, whatever, it's like we're taking people's power away, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to individually rise in our own power, but through a solid foundation of self-acceptance, self-love, self-knowledge, right? Soul knowledge, not ego. We need some ego to survive, right? We need to be like, oh, I look good today. Like, that's okay, right? But we're not like, look at me, yes, you should give that to me free. I look good today. You know what I mean? What kind of attitude is that? Right? Instead, if we're just, have you ever noticed if you go out into the world and you're like more like sunshine and roses, like things just like automatically, like good things happen, because energy begets energy. So if you're like, fuck you, or you're having a bad day, blah, blah, and you're putting that out there and you're like, excuse me, right? Then you're going to get that energy back. Then those people in the store are going to gravitate to you too, and it's just going to fester and build, right? But if you're like, if someone's like, hey, you're in my way, be like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. And if they're like, no, you're in my way, well, I'm not now, you know what I mean? And you just move on and don't continue. When people are angry or depressed or sad, I'm stretching, they want to put it somewhere instead of dealing with it themselves. And, looking back now, I don't know if this is for sure. I don't know. But Spirit just put into my wake that my mom and my dad were pretty miserable. you know, they were 17 and 18 when they got pregnant, and their parents made them get married in the 60s. And I'm not saying that they didn't love each other or that they couldn't have a good marriage, but, you know, there were many times that we all knew that it just wasn't right. And it was that, you know, marriage is hard, work through it, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, they fucking had sex and you're making them get married, you know? And I don't know, isn't this sad? I don't even know how long my parents dated before that happened, but, you know, they were very, very, very different. And my mom was the oldest of 6, and she couldn't wait to, like, you know, get out into the world and start her life, right? You know, and then here she is, she gets pregnant, and that is her life. Here she was, the oldest of 6. Her smallest sister, her youngest sister, was, I think, a year old or something at the time. Can you imagine? And then she had a baby. And then my sister and my aunt were more like sisters because they were very close in age. They grew up like that. And, you know, it's just a really funny world that we live in. And, you know, my mom and my dad and my family, we grew up in a time where it was like, you know, it was good enough for my father. It's, you know, good enough for my grandfather and my great grandpappy, right? And it's good enough for you. And if that's not good enough for you, then fuck you. Like, that's kind of how it was. You know, don't be ungrateful. There, you know, I remember, you know, and then when Africa, when it came into, you know, that there were children starving in Africa, and they were showing these, you know, videos or whatever with flies on them and trying to, you know, it's like, I'm not saying it didn't help them. I'm just saying, like, it's really gross. The things that were the propaganda and stuff too, like over the years that people fed off of, like, misery like that. It's just really sick. But anyway, I remember my mom would say things like, you know, or my dad would be like, you know, there are kids starving in Africa, eat your food. Just all this, you know, and I saw something recently from one of my favorite tarot readers, Lenore Yuli Tea Leaf, I think is her. Anyway, she's hilarious, but she said, she's like, I can't even imagine, like, saying the things to my child now that, like, my husband, because she's younger than him, but I think he's more like my age. She's like, I just, like, can't imagine, like, saying those things to my kids. Like, no wonder why, like, and she's a reader, right? It's like, I know as a fellow reader too, it's like, you're like, yeah, no wonder why we were all so fucked up, right? It's because of this, like, this shadow, this negativity, this, like, this programming. And now we're like, no, we don't want to live like that anymore. We want our children to be better. You know, I grew up in a time where it was like, you know, my dad and my mom and my sister and, like, certain people around me, I felt like the more I did that I loved to do, I felt like jealousy or anger or just like I didn't get to do that, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, well, you know, I had kids, I had to do blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, you know, I just feel like it's like, you know, it's just so interesting. So we I was programmed at a very young age to speak in a very messed up, dark, you know, shadow languaging to myself and to others. And now that line from that song from Taylor Swift keeps haunting me because, like, I mean, I've had fights. If you've been in my life a long time, you know, I've had fights, you know, with not my friends so much, but definitely, like, with my partners and my family, you know, where we said some really fucking harsh things to each other, like really harsh. But definitely, like, my husband, you know, he's more of somebody who will do things through action, you know, to hurt me, or passive aggressively, you know, things like that, where I'm more like, I'll just, like, blatantly, you know, just, like, call him names or say, like, really horrible things to him, or be like, you're a fucking asshole. You know, I'm like, and then later I'll apologize, but, you know, it doesn't need to be handled like that or talked like that, or, you know, but that's what I heard. And I thought to myself, yeah, well, my family also were racist and threw around the N word like it was no big fucking deal. And if I would call them out on it, they would, you know, give me the dictionary description of the word. And I'm like, yes, I know, but you're also saying it in a derogatory way. You're not saying it, like, from the dictionary, let's be honest. Come on, you know what I mean? But that was like their scapegoat, their cop out, their, you know, and that's what I mean. It's just like there was all these like loopholes and wormholes of destruction of languaging and imprinting on my brain and my soul and my mind and all these things that I chose this family. I chose these families. They're my blood and bone. They're my ancestral lineage. I chose them for a reason, so that I could be here today at 51 years old and like tell you like what I've been through and what my life was like. And, you know, being born in 1971 after, you know, I was actually born after the age of Aquarius started to come in. You know, I was thinking earlier this year that I was like, man, kids who were born in March, you know, after March 2023 of this year are the real, you know, miracle children, you know, or whatever. But then I was like, yeah, wait a second though. But no, I'm like, what about us, you know? As we were born, you know, and even the baby boomers, they may not they may not have been born, but they were in the shadow of it, right? And they got to witness it because they were raised in such a rigid, and then they got to see hippies. And you know, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will rule the planet and love will rule the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Don't quote me, I'm paraphrasing it, unless that's the, I don't remember. But you know, all of these songs, listen to Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind and Fire were angels. End of story. I mean, Olivia Newton-John. I mean, I can go, there's so many. So Taylor right now is a real bona fide fucking superwoman. And you want to know why I know she is a super goddess? Beyonce too. And I can go on and on. Gal Gadot, I think that's how you say her name, or is it Gadot? I'm not sure. She's French, but anyway, who plays the Wonder Woman on screen now, right? Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman on screen, you know. There's just so many things, you know, it's like the goddess, like Wonder Woman comes from, you know, the goddess island, basically, right? Diana, the goddess, that's her name. You know, there's just all these little things where it's like, close, but it's like, but people are like, but look at this Bible, this book was written 2,000 years ago, you know? I saw this really great clip. Taylor Tomlinson is seriously my fucking comedic spirit animal, because she grew up in the church. I feel like I get you. Like I'm like, I get you, girl, I get you. But she said something recently that like really like got me, and it was really funny. She said something about the Old Testament and the New Testament. You know, it was really clever. If I can find it, I'll do a funny thing on it and put it in my shorts to share it with you. But she's funny. She's really funny, and she hits a lot of things right on the head. And I just feel like there are so many goddess energy, goddess divine embodied in the goddess divine feminine visual on earth of woman. There are so many right now, but I kept seeing different versions of like Wonder Woman when I would see Taylor Swift. Like Gal, I was like, I'm like, that's, I mean, it was, you know, when you just see things so much, you're like, okay, I get it, you know? So, and then I saw this thing and somebody made a shorts, and it was with Taylor, and it said, you know, she is a true superhero or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know, there's something so special about what's happening with her on the planet right now and the divine feminine. It's really cool. It's really powerful. It's connecting with men. It's connecting with women, just like the Barbie movie and Ken and like all this. It's just really cool how it's coming through our social media and through our entertainment and, you know, our escapisms, whether it's music, movies, you know, books, things like that. There's a lot of female empowerment. And then there's also a lot of women out there who are like, you know, enough already, women, you know, I want my man, I want my masculine. I'm like, well, then find that divine masculine inside of yourself. We all are here to work with our divine masculine and our divine feminine. And as we keep getting closer and the veil keeps getting thinner, you're probably going to experience a lot of things that are not natural to you or have not been natural to you. But I also implore you, from this moment forward, I implore you, every single day, wake up, when your eyes open, you say to yourself, I believe in magic and miracles. I believe in magic and miracles. Keep saying that to yourself. I am abundant. Abundance is my birthright. I'm a beautiful, beautiful light being having a human experience. How may I serve today, Spirit? How can I help? When I'm here with you guys, yeah, I feel this because I feel your energy, my energy, and I'm like, yeah, like I know we're gonna win, you know what I mean? But I have those moments too where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, I don't know if I want to like participate and be human today. But it's in those moments, you know, I try to think of something funny, or, try to remember that there are other people who aren't as blessed as I am, you know, and that every day is a gift and we have no idea what's going to happen from moment to moment, right? One moment, Israel was going about their day. The next minute they're in war and there's, casualties and kidnappings. And so also stay away from the news and the media, because it's just going to make you more depressed, because at this point, if you can't tell what's real and what's not, it's just going to freak you out. And if you look at it during the shadow right now, during the next few weeks, because in real time it's October 14th and it's going to go on. We had the solar annular eclipse this morning, which I really wanted to be awake for it. Yesterday I wanted to do readings. I like messaged Jana back after she sent me the email. I was like, I'm gonna do readings today, I'm gonna go live, blah blah blah. Never happened. I wanted it to, like, I wanted yesterday to go in such a different way, and it just did not go the way. What is happening? It did not go the way I wanted it to. And I just surrendered. I went outside, I sat on the ground, I sat in the trees, and I talked to the goddess, and I worshiped her, and I thanked her. And the wind was coming through, and it was this warm wind. It was like that what they call like the warm we call it the Indian summer. They call it the Indian summer. I don't know why they call it that, so I don't want to say that if that's in like a racist way. But all that means is it's just it's a warm fall. And we started out fall really cold, and I was like, ugh. And it's been kind of cold, but we've been getting like warm spurts. But yesterday was bizarre because it was so cold at first, but then when I went outside and I sat outside, the wind that was coming through, I was like thanking the goddess for blessing me and taking, away and releasing all of these things so I can start new. Show me what I need to look at during this eclipse season. Let me release, that which I don't need anymore on this path, on this journey. And the wind was so warm. I was like, oh my gosh. And Alder had a job, and when he came home, I was like, because he came home right when I was like, I had gotten up and I was like talking to the goddess, and I was like dancing around and celebrating her and celebrating the divine feminine energy. And I said, come and dance with me, and we danced in the wind. And he's like, wow, the wind is so warm. I'm like, I know, it was so magical. The fairies, the magic, it's just the spider webs. I took this video for you guys, but it didn't show up. But it was foggy the morning before, and it was so foggy. It was like, I heard Spirit say, go outside with your camera, but it was just so chilly that I was like, no, I'm cozy. And, I'm like, I'm cozy in my blankets. But when I did finally get out there, the fog was lifting, and the spider webs had like, you could see the spider webs all throughout the tree. It looked magical. I felt like I was in another fucking world. It was so cool. And I've decided, like, that's the only way I'm going to look at the planet from now on. When I go to the stores or I do have to interact with people or whatever, I understand that they're at their level of consciousness and I'm at mine. I get it, so I try to stay away from it and avoid it as much as possible. But when I'm here on the property, there's so much magic here that I can feel, my spirit like really like sinking in. I can feel our family like really sinking into the energy here and into this property, and just how blessed we all are, the web weavers, the spiders, please don't kill the spiders. They're here for, they have a purpose, and a really beautiful purpose, but they're also great teachers. So look up spider spirit medicine. And, if you ask the spider to go away, it will. They're very intelligent. They're emotionally, and they have their sensors. They know, just like the bat. I said that to the bat and it flew to me. It's blind as a bat, but it sensed my energy and flew towards my energy. Yesterday I said that, I'm like, are they really blind? And my husband's like, yes, that's why they say blind as a bat. And I'm like, oh, I just thought that because they couldn't see very well. He's like, no, he's like, they literally, and he was like describing the whole thing. And I was like, no, I know, like I've studied the spirit medicine, but it was really interesting. We've been talking about the bat a lot lately. So anyway, I've talked a lot, and basically what I'm realizing is You know, we don't need to be cruel in the name of being honest. We can be loving and we can be kind while we are going through this, to ourselves and to others, but most of all to ourselves. You know, down the stairs, I was there. I remember it all too well. When she's like, maybe we got lost in translation. Sing it with me. I'm like, please. See, I'm like, it's like I'm inadvertently a Swiftie. Like, I know way more information than I would have, but I came through the back door. I mean, I've always liked her and loved her and all that stuff, but I'm saying, like, now I feel like it's on another level where I'm like studying, like, I'm realizing like how much her poetry and like what she's putting out into the world. And she's also inspiring me to have the courage to put my music and my poetry and my stuff back out there again, and to put my voice back out there again. Spirit's been showing me things in threes, and I'll explain that on another episode. But really powerful stuff has been happening in that direction. Oh, maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much, but maybe this was a master. This whole something of this was a masterpiece until you tore it all up, running scared down the stairs. I was there. I remember it all too well. So if there's something that you remember all too well and it keeps coming for you, work through it, forgive it. You can write it down, burn it in a place that's very safe, you know. Give it to the gods, to the goddess, because the end of this cycle, interesting that we are starting the eclipse season with the new moon. And also, may we please say thank you to the Virgo moon and say welcome to the new moon in Libra. And ooh, we love us some Libra energy, don't we? And if you don't know and you're not familiar with the Libra energy, because we are in Libra right now, please seek it out because it's so magical. Libras are beautiful. I actually have so many Libras in my family, really magical, beautiful souls. And, you know, they're just being driven by things they don't understand. And it's very interesting. And I was too, and I'm still working through it. But anyway, so there's that. And then we will have the full moon in Taurus. The full moon in Taurus. And now that Venus is, you know, back in, you know, direct, and Venus is in Taurus right now, very, very interesting. So expect some magic and miracles and blessings, because that next full moon, we'll talk more about it as it gets closer, but that's going to be a partial lunar eclipse. I don't remember the exact date, so I don't want to tell you, so research it. I don't believe it's on Samhain. I believe it's on the 28th. But yeah, just a lot of magic, a lot of cool things that are happening. And I mean, and think about this for a second. We just had, so Taylor, the other reason why Taylor has been around so much is, one, she's dating this really famous football player. So that's just like put her to another fucking realm. She gets to play the football cheerleader, you know, thing like from her video, right? Like she gets to play the fantasy of the football cheerleader fantasy, but now she's the pop star, superstar, rock star, icon, you know, legend, dating famous. I said to my husband, I go, I don't feel like they're going to end up together, but man, they look alike. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like drawn together to, you know, make babies or something, but like he'll be her like baby daddy. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to put anything out there. Some of my beeswax, but very interesting. But that she released her movie version of her Eras tour from this year, and 2023 is the number 7, and 7's very lucky. I would be very interested to know if she's a life path 7, because I would be interested to look at her chart. Actually, I bet it's online. I need to go check it out, because we're born on the same day, but I don't know if we have. I'm a triple Sag. My moon's in Scorpio, but I don't know what her things are. Also, our angel number for today is 5544. I've been seeing like 1122, 1144, 1155. Haven't seen 1133. A lot of times I see them in sequence, but I've been seeing also 1010, and like a lot of things of like completion, a lot of numerology lately, angel numbers, just like, you know. So yeah, I'd be curious to know if Taylor is a life path 7, because I'm a life path 7. And interesting that in 2023 that my dream, my manifestation for my home and my family and our property came together. I even said, like, in my dream world, I'd have like, you know, hundreds of acres so I can like rescue animals and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, I feel like that's going to be another property or another place, another time. And I remember I was like, I'd be happy, you know, with, you know, 5 acres would make me happy. 2 minimum. we are literally on 5 acres. I was like, it'd be cool if we were up on a hill and we had like a really beautiful view, because Alder loves, you know, the water, and he really wanted a water view. We have a water view. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like there's all these things in our manifestation that we've been putting together. Was it our dream house inside? No, but it was our dream house on the outside. And the property's really cool, and it's really interesting and fun. And it's like a total like gem. It's a work in progress. But, you know, on 5 acres, just saying, you know, keep dreaming big. It's going to happen if it's meant to happen. If you're dreaming it, if it's something that you keep dreaming about, it's going to happen. It just may not happen in the way that you think it's going to happen. And that's why it's not happening, because you keep trying to make it, trying to control it. Just let it be. I tried to control this. I tried to walk away from this gift for a year. I tried to walk away from this. I gave it every fucking reason why we shouldn't take it. And they were valid reasons. But then when I would see all the good reasons why we were here, I was like, okay, even this morning I woke up and I was like thinking about how much money we've spent already, you know, like just in rent and like, you know, just putting into this place. And I was like, oh my gosh. And Spirit's like, how many times do I have to say, welcome to being a homeowner? Like if you know, that's why it's easy to just rent something and walk away. But if you want something and you want to invest in something, you have to invest in it. Sometimes it's blood, sweat, and tears. And sometimes it's, you know, hopefully no blood, right? But sometimes you do nick your finger, right? Like things happen because you weren't paying attention. You weren't grounded, blah, 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 blah. However, we learn. And that's what this whole thing is. It's a learning process. It's a growth process. That's all this is. And we're here to have fun. We're here to balance the fun with the work. So no, I mean, I'm like, there are days where I'm like angry because I'm like, why aren't we in the house yet? We should be in the house. Blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid all this, blah, blah. And then there are other days where I'm just like, no, because I want it to be my home. I want it to feel like my home. I don't want it to feel like I'm living in this fixer-upper when I have somewhere to live. This may not be ideal and perfect, but I know how to live here. I've done it. I've lived 4 seasons off grid. I know, you know what I mean? I'm just building my strength and my character. I'm building on all of the things that I worked on myself this whole time. And the shadow is a time to remind us of the things that we still need to work on. So during this eclipse season, don't walk away, don't run away, confront it. Look at it. Say what is working, what's not working. If it's not working, get rid of it. And on the full moon, release it and have a celebration of what's to come, because now you've released it. Now you've let it go. And work with the spirit animals, work with the robin bird. She was our inspiration today. When I looked down, it was 52 minutes, but it said 21, and then it said 22. So I don't know if that means something to you guys. Could be angel number 21, 22 that you keep seeing, because I just saw them in sequence like an angel number. It's also the number 7, because I've been seeing that number too. What? That's what I mean. The signs are everywhere. The ancestors, they want us to have a beautiful, wonderful life. They're like, we didn't fucking suffer and sacrifice for you to do the same fucking thing. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Walk away from the situations. I walked away from an enormous, large family. Both sides of my parents are from big families. I miss them. I love them. I send them love all the time. They come into my mind. I send them love. They come into, you know, a bad memory. I work through it and I see how I could have maybe handled it differently if I handled it now, right? But I'm who I am now. Then I was different. It was a different level of consciousness. Stop beating yourself up. Just say I'm sorry. And say it to yourself. Say, I'm sorry I took us off track for 10 fucking years because I was convinced that this person, you know, or this job or this place, that's okay. You learned so many lessons. And you know what? Now you can reap the rewards, because once you take that step towards your dream, towards your manifestation, towards your future, I guarantee you with everything that I am, everything will come together. I have days where I'm like, I should be recording more music, or I should blah, blah, blah. I should blah, blah. Yesterday, I was shooting all over myself. Like in such a silly way too, because I just want to make sure I have time. In such a silly way, because everything is divinely perfect. And I asked Spirit, why do you push us to these brinks, you know, where we're like, you know, and they're like, because you need to learn to trust us, that everything is happening in divine timing. Don't rush the house. Don't rush this. Don't rush that. Just let it work itself out. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to die tomorrow. Everything's good. Like, I feel like we have this, and they're like, stop, 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 stop. That comes from a place that's not ours. It's old. Release yourself. face your darkness, face your shadow. Eclipse season, and think about it. Research what eclipse spiritually means, like what eclipse energy spiritually means. Like, you know, whenever something kind of pings for you during any of these videos, research it. Also, please, when you get a chance, go check out that latest picker reading. It's really good. My laptop is dead. Normally I have it on my, like, you know, main thing. But I keep forgetting to bring my laptop up to the cabin to charge it. And I'm just like, eh. But anyway, so it's on there, and I've been shooting so many videos and posting and making videos, so I'm not sure if they're gonna, you know, have me put them on a schedule. I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm just going with the flow. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you to the new subscribers, and thank you to those of you who keep coming back and supporting me on this journey. Thank you for the donations. Also, we're getting a new P.O. box. I'm really excited about that, so I'll be able to put that at the bottom if you know, want to send, you know, gifts or you know, things like that. And for those of you who've been reaching out, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got about 5 seconds. Anyway, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Blessed be. Aho.